Matt Inman here at London Grapple. Today we're going to look at dealing with the mount position when we're on bottom, specifically for MMA or fighting. So the mount bottom can be one of the worst spots we can end up in a fight. You know, it's a bad spot in pure jiu-jitsu, but when there's strikes involved and my opponent's striking down on me, it can be a really tough spot. So it's important for MMA athletes to recognise how to act in this situation and deal with that quickly. Let's look at the position a little bit to start with. So if you drop on your back first, Nathan. Turn around this way. So if I have Nathan mounted, a lot of common escapes that guys will use in this position change a little bit with strikes. For example, if Nathan decides to go for an elbow knee escape in this position, he's providing me with opportunities now to start hitting, okay? If he tries to push his hands to my hips and do some kind of escape this way, I can start scoring big strikes here. And the reason these strikes are so damaging is because I'm punching down with gravity on my side and his head has nowhere to go. It's kind of just getting hit straight into the mat, okay? It's no good for Nathan though to just start defending strikes like this, okay? If he puts his guard up, he might be able to deflect a few strikes, but this is not a great position to have a boxing match from. If he tries to strike up at me from here, he doesn't have the reach. I'm still striking down and I can start controlling his arms, climbing and making the situation worse from him. Another tactic people use sometimes is they'll wrap a body lock and control from here, and this can delay actions, but again, I can start breaking his controls away, I can punch down, and he can end up in even worse situations than he already was by using this tactic. So what I'm going to do, if I find myself mounted, and this will feel counterintuitive at first, is I'm going to keep my elbows down, okay? So the idea is that my elbows are down and then they're down even further. So I'm extending my shoulders so my elbows are moving down towards my hips. What this does is it sits Nathan's weight on top of my hips, okay? So now, as I lift my hips, he's given a choice. He either touches his hands down on the mat like so, or he tries to use his core to lean back away from me. Both these options damage his effectiveness with strikes, okay? So first he comes forward. Now, in order to strike, he has to lift the hand from the mat and punch down from there. This is not, again, it's not a great position to be, but it's not as powerful a strike as he initially had if he was just sat on top of me, posturing up and hitting down from there, okay? So elbows extend, I lift my hips and I bring him down onto his hands. Now, once he's on his hands, I want to move to trap an arm, okay? So I'm keeping my hips up all the time, keeping my elbows extended. If I just reach to Nathan's arm though and try and overhook from here, there's a good chance that he's gonna circle out, or B, he might start catching my arm, taking it away, moving into head and arm situations and this kind of thing. So what I'm gonna do instead is using my feet and my shoulders, I'm gonna walk my body towards his arm. I'm gonna look back this way a little bit. So I'll show that again. Up, hips, arms are forward, shoulders walk towards the arm, and I trap here. And I'm using a double lock mechanism where I'm biting down on his arm and then I'm catching the back of a tricep. So now if he tries to free this arm, it's very difficult for him. Just as like for your training partners, if your arm does get caught like this, try and turn your palm towards you, because now as I go to bridge over, there's a chance that your training partner might hurt the wrist. Okay, so I've caught the arm. Now from this position, I need to trap the foot as well. If I'm able to trap the foot, and as I go to bridge, he steps that leg out, I'm gonna lose my position, okay? So I come back, I trap the foot, I make sure my knee's pointing to the outside. And then from here, looking overhead, I turn over and I make my bridge, reversing position, okay? So it's a great option to trap and roll in MMA because I'm actually gonna end up on top of my opponent. So rather than just escaping, say for an elbow knee escape, back to my half guard, the guy's still on top, he's still hitting me. I've reversed position completely and I'm now the guy on top. You know, in a fight, we should always try and be the guy on top when we can. Okay, so looking at that again, from a slightly different angle this time. Nathan's mounted me. I have to move quickly, but I can't panic, okay? If I panic and bring my hands up, start defending here, that's gonna give him all the opportunity he needs to climb up, put me in even worse positions, okay? So instead, my elbows connect to the mat, to the tops of Nathan's knees, and then this is really important, right? If I don't do this little movement here, he's not quite on my hips. There's a good chance he can still maintain position, and from here he can strike and he can hit there, yeah? If I make this small movement, sit him on top of my hips, now when I lift, I always get that reaction where he's moving towards the mat. Remember, I'm not gonna try and reach to here and risk losing my arm. I'm going to walk my body towards the arm so I can trap in the armpit, okay? Keep back of the tricep, so whatever he does now to try and pull this arm free, it's very difficult. If I'm worried about him striking on the opposite side now, I can also start deflecting this hand because I'm not as worried about the climb now once I have the arm trapped. If he tries to climb, he's kind of just helping me do what I want to do, okay? Next, I need to trap the foot. When I trap the foot, I make sure my knee's pointing on an outward angle, okay? If my knee points straight up and I've got a strong guy on top and he happens to do like a sprawl with a grapevine, he can extend this leg and take that away. If I stand on the foot and point my knee to the outside and he tries to make that same movement, you feel like you can do it? That's not there, okay? My bridge is never to 6 o'clock, okay? If I bridge to 6 o'clock, this arm comes into play and he can base and stop me. So instead, I move my head out of the way, give myself a space to bridge over, and I bridge directly overhead. Now, even if he uses this arm to try and stop himself, I'm still able to turn him over. As we land in the guard, sorry, move back this way a bit. I need to be aware straight away that I'm in danger because I'm inside the guard. So I'm going to work my hands back to inside space, opportunity to come through with strikes until I can start building my posture or work control. So one more time, a mount escape for MMA. Partner has me mounted. First and foremost, my posture. Elbows are down, shoulders extending towards the hips. Feet walk close to my own hips and I'll lift my hips off the mat. My hips will not drop back down to the mat for the entirety of this movement. Now, next, I walk my shoulders to the arm and catch. Trap the foot, make sure my other leg's clear. Turn my head, make the bridge overhead, and establish a safe position as soon as I land inside the guard.